Right, and here we are with Tom's force of Traitor Guard, or Independent Guard, let's say, who are breaking away from the Imperium. So we've got 1,250 points or thereabouts. Tom, do you want to run through what you've picked here for your force?
Yep. So you've got a Lord Commissar, taking control of the entire remaining unit, as per our scenario in a minute. Get a Chimera with a 10-man veteran squad. With two flamers and one heavy flamer. Yep,
very nice.
And then in front we've got another veteran squad here, which has got heavy flamer, and grenade launcher.
Yep.
Another veteran squad at the back here with plasma, melter.
Yep.
And another veteran squad here, which has just got a las cannon with them.
Yep, and no specials.
Yeah, and then find another one down here which has got 3 grenade launchers.
And that's it. Okay.
And then one weapon on its own.
Yep.
An Eradicator on its own with plasma cannon sponsons and a heavy bolter.
Okay.
Another weapon on its own. And a Valkyrie on its own as well with multiple rocket pods and a las cannon, not a multi-laser on it.
Yep, so multi-laser appears there, but Tom's in fact paid for a las cannon, just magnetised the wrong bit at the moment. So there we are, that's Tom's force, and it's pretty intimidating for going up against my Militarum Tempestus, but we will see what happens. Right, and here we are, my Militarum Tempestus points, armies, 1,250 points. So, what have we got? Starting over here, we've got a squad of 7 there with a melter gun and a hotshot body gun. They are mounted in this Valkyrie, which is armed with the multi-laser and rocket pods. Going down here, we've got a 5-man squad in the Taurox Prime with they are armed with a volley gun and a melter gun. The Taurox Prime has got the Punisher Gatling cannons and twin-linked autocannon. Next to them, we've got another 7-man squad, armed the same, so with a volley gun and a melter gun, also mounted in a Valkyrie rocket pods. Here is our command squad with 2 volley guns, 1 melter gun, a medic, a power fist on the commander, and a commissar with a power sword. And they are mounted in this Valkyrie with the Hellstrike missiles and a las cannon. And finally, another Valkyrie here with rocket pods, and in there a 6-man squad with a plasma gun and a melter gun. So that is my 1,250 points. It's quite a nice little list. The guys mounted in Valkyries are actually part of the airborne formation. It's not a bound list, but as it's a scenario rather than a standard game, I'm pretty sure it's fine. And that is my force, and let's get on to the mission and deployment. Hello, it's Dom and Tom from BlackToad Studios, and here we are for the Gorgan IV Incident. We have got a renegade commander, a renegade commissar. Commissar Curtis has taken power and forced the PDF troops under his control to join his side against the Imperium. They have taken a loyalist commander, General Waters, and they are currently trying to extract the general to the landing pad over here to be extracted for interrogation and possible summary execution, but we will see. But of course the Imperium have got wind of this and they are sending in a task force. The Kitchen Drakes are coming in and hopefully to assassinate Commissar Curtis and to extract the general and save the day, but we will see what happens. So going through deployment here, like I said, over here we've got the general, the captured general, the corrupt commissar and a squad of veterans in the Chimera. The commissar has put all his forces spread out, not knowing whereabouts the Militarum Tempestus force will come from. We're all spread out here, bunkered down, preparing. Over here, the first signs of the Militarum Tempestus, we got the Taurox Prime with a squad of Tempestus scions in there, just waiting, hiding. And in reserve, of course, we've got all the other Valkyries and troops on both sides. So here we are. Let's see if the Militarum Tempestus can seize and strike first. And they do! Right, so turn 1 for the Militarum Tempestus, and the only thing on the board for us at the moment is the Torx Prime, which came crashing through this barricade, and it's now eyeing up the guys manning the AA and the Wyvern there. But that's turn 1 movement. Let's see what we can do in shooting. Right, so turn 1 shooting for the Militarum Tempestus. Okay, so what happened? The Scions on board fired over here and took 2 hull points off of the Wyvern with their both glancing hits. So it's down to 1. It's not the end of the world. The Gatler and the autocannon both fired into this squad. We only took out 2, unfortunately, but 2's better than none. So that is turn 1 for the Militarum Tempestus. Moving on to turn 1 for the Traitor Guard. Right, turn 1 movement for the Traitor Guard. What the orders have been. These guys have reshuffled. They're kind of now facing towards the threat of the Torx Prime. The Wyvern spun round to fire its heavy bolter as well as its horrible cannons. And seeing the threat now from the side, the Commissar is going flat out. He's heading towards the landing zone as quickly as he can before anything else turns up. And that's pretty much it at the moment. The rest of the force is just holding ground and waiting for the upcoming event. So moving into turn 1, shooting for the Traitor Guard. Okay, so turn 1 movement, shooting, for the Traitor Guard, and the Chimera here went flat out, kind of zooming now towards the landing pad as gunfire erupts. Over here, we had both the Wyverns firing and doing damage. Didn't quite kill it though. It was the auto cannon from the guard squad there that finally knocked it out. So these guys came out. Unfortunately for the task force though, they are pinned this turn. So moving on to turn 2 for the Militarum Tempestus. Okay, so turn 2 movement for the Militarum Tempestus, and the airborne have arrived. They've come in to help out the dwindling ground force there. So this Valkyrie came on, it got shot at by the traitor forces manning the quad cannon. It jinked, but one of the shots got through and glanced this Valkyrie. Over here, the command Valkyrie with the Hellstrike missiles is coming on, strafing on here, eyeing up the armour down there. Elsewhere, we have got the another Valkyrie with another squad coming in from this angle. And finally, we've got another Valkyrie over here with another lot of troops as well coming in, and he's got a few targets there. So moving on to turn 2 shooting, let's see what the Militarum Tempestus can do. Right, so turn 2 shooting for the Militarum Tempestus. This Valkyrie here fired one of its missiles off towards Chimera. Unfortunately though, the missile went flying off and hit the ruin. Over here, it's got a Scion still being pinned down, fired their weapons at the Wyvern. Didn't do anything, unfortunately. It hit with a grenade, but the grenade just was unable to penetrate the armour. This Valkyrie, the one that jinked, fired its multi-laser down. Didn't do anything, unfortunately, to that one, I don't think. Actually, no, I think it might have killed a couple of guardsmen.
Did you get a couple of guardsmen?
Yeah, so a couple of guardsmen perished. Over here, this Valkyrie fired salvos of rockets down in here, killing a big part of this squad. The rest just holding the ground though. So they're still there. And finally, the Valkyrie over here was able to target this quad gun, seeing it from across the zone, and fired rocket pods and multi-lasers, killing a couple of the guards. So really, Traitor Guard just holding on for now. The Militarum Tempestus kind of coming in, making their presence known and getting ready for a counter-attack from the Traitor Guard. So moving into turn 2 for the Traitor Guard, let's see what they can do. Right, turn 2 for the Traitor Guard. So Commissar Curtis taking his hostage. He's getting closer now to the landing pad. It's now being joined on this Leman Russ. He's kind of come around to protect his flank. This squad have reformed. They're kind of coming up here to join in the fight. And the Traitor Valkyrie, known as the Vixen, has come on the rear there, eyeing up the rear of this Valkyrie. So a little bit of a dogfight to happen, I'm guessing. And we're now going to move into turn 2 shooting for the Traitor Guard. Alright, so turn 2 shooting for the Traitor Guard. So the Vixen here fired on. The las cannon got a glancing hit against it, even though the Valkyrie was jinking. Did 1 whole point. The rest of the weapons, nothing. So narrow escape there for the Valkyrie, although it is jinking. Over here, we had a grenade launcher fire up, 2 grenade launchers fire up at the Valkyrie, and didn't do anything. Optimistic, but this is what traitors are like. Big thing though, the Wyvern here fired its shrapnel cannons and just ripped apart the squad of Scions there, bravely dying for the Emperor. And almost that was it. I mean, Commissar here went flat out and kind of spun round a bit, and the las cannon here fired up optimistically and missed this Valkyrie. So yeah, we lost the squad of Scions, but the task force carries on, and we're going to move into turn 3 now for the Militarum Tempestus to see what we can do to this treacherous force. Okay, so turn 3 movement for the Militarum Tempestus. Right, so starting over here, this Valkyrie has gone into hover mode. The Scions are now disembarked and are eyeing up their targets. Just a quick one, because of the formation, the Scions get split fire and twin link this turn, so hopefully that should be of use. So eyeing up their targets here. The command squads come out. They're currently in the ruins with this Valkyrie, also in hover mode, and they're also eyeing up their targets. This Valkyrie, however, is still flying, and he's looking at the Wyvern and any other possible targets in the area. But as he was flying over, these guys jumped out, Scion style, and they deep striked in, and they didn't scatter, so they are quite happily just sitting there at the moment, now looking at the Traitor Commissar's Chimera. Over here, this Valkyrie, also in hover mode, which was jinking. These guys have disembarked and hopefully going to cleanse the top of the landing zone, but we will see. All good plans and all that. So moving on to turn 3 shooting for the Militarum Tempestus, and let's see what they can do. Right, so turn 3 shooting for the Militarum Tempestus, and what a turn. It's been pretty devastating for the traitors. The Imperial Hammer has descended. So the command squad over here in this building, they fired onto this Wyvern here. Can't remember what order I gave them, but basically they gained rending and they just destroyed the Wyvern there. This Valkyrie that was not jinking fired its las cannon and shook and stunned this Leman Russ, taking a whole point off there, so protecting the Tempestus for a turn. Over here, this squad fired on the Chimera and blew it up. These guys disembarked. They failed a pinning check, but the Commissar, being corrupt and evil, killed one of the guardsmen which were questioning him, and they rallied. Over here, this squad of Scions fired onto the squad here and knocked out quite a few. And elsewhere, over here, this squad came down, split fired, melter gun taking out the Wyvern here, and the rest of the squad firing onto the guard squad with a bit of support from the Valkyrie and taking that squad out. So there's no assault this turn, but the battlefield is really looking in Imperial favour, and I'm pretty sure the Commissar has got some troops hidden away, and they will be appearing in Traitor Guard turn 3. And the skies over Gorgan IV are getting rather busy as Valkyries are flying very close to one another. For turn 4 for the Traitor's movement, and this Valkyrie zoomed over but did a bit of a grab shoot insertion here and dropped off this squad of veterans onto the landing pad, landed without scattering at all, and now eyeing up the squad of Scions for some flamey redemption. But that was pretty much it for the movement phase. Let's move on to shooting and see what the Traitor Guard can do. Okay, turn 3 for the Traitor Guard, and their shooting phase is quite devastating. So these guys all fired on the squad of Tempestus, not quite wiping them out, but the two special guys have fallen back and are currently at the bottom of the drop pod, probably regrouping, ready for a counter-attack. Or let's pretend they are. Over here though, the Commissar Curtis and his goons fired on the squad of Tempestus, or squad of Scions, sorry, and one guy was left standing, and Commissar Curtis just executed him in front of everyone with a plasma pistol. And except for that, that was pretty much it really. This Valkyrie, sorry, fired its las cannon and didn't do anything against that. So that is pretty much it. So moving on to turn 4 movement for the Militarum Tempestus and see what they can do. Okay, so turn 4 movement for the Militarum Tempestus, and the command squad have gone over this this wall and now trying to neutralise this tank before it comes into full effect. Elsewhere, this Valkyrie is just traversing along, still targeting the Leman Russ. Definitely deadly at this point of the game, needs to be taken out. Elsewhere, this Valkyrie over here, the squad re-embarked and now heading towards the drop zone. And this one up here, he's just kind of still, it's in hover mode currently, and he's now targeting the guys down there. So that's his mission. Over here, this Valkyrie has come off of the drop pod and still hover mode, but he's only snap shooting as he jinked last turn, so he's just going to try and take a few shots at the Commissar squad. So moving into shooting, and let's see what the Militarum Tempestus can do. Okay, turn 4 shooting for the Militarum Tempestus. Not a great deal happened. These guys, command squad fired, didn't do anything to that. Also, this Valkyrie fired its las cannon, didn't do anything. The two Valkyries over here fired onto the squads on the landing pad. This one here fired onto this squad, knocking out 9. And this one up here fired down on these 3 here and didn't do anything. The two Tempestus down here, which rallied, fired onto the squad here, taking out the melter gun and the las gun. And that was pretty much it. So moving on to turn 4 for the traitors, and let's see if they can extract their VIP. Right, turn 4 movement for the Traitor Guard, and Commissar Curtis in his squad are hiding underneath the landing pad, waiting for extract at the moment. So, very cunning. This guy over here still hasn't rallied, he's still running away. Slowly though, he's kind of hoping for good things. These are spaced out. These guys here just kind of shuffling around towards the Scion squad. And over here, Leman Russ is getting shot at quite a bit. He's now decided to address the problem that is coming up behind him. And this Valkyrie has gone into hover mode, getting ready also to extract the VIP. So moving on to turn 4 shooting, let's see what the traitors can do to the Imperial forces. Okay, so turn 4 shooting for the Traitor Guard, and what happened? Well, these guys kind of fired a little bit, didn't really do anything. The Valkyrie over here fired its las cannon over towards this Valkyrie. It jinked luckily because it hit, and I was managed to protect myself. But main thing is the Eradicator finally getting a little bit annoyed with the getting shot in the bum. It turned around and fired on the command squad, completely just shredding them. So the entire command squad for the Tempestus has been wiped out. But hopefully the remaining troops and transports will be able to complete the mission. So moving on to turn 5 for Militarum Tempestus, let's see what we can do. Right, so turn 5 for the Militarum Tempestus, and this squad have disembarked from this Valkyrie, which has gone into hover mode. It was jinking last turn, so it's only snap firing this turn. Elsewhere, this Valkyrie has descended down, is hopefully blasting some rebels away on top of the landing pad. Over here, this one's kind of fallen back a little bit, still in hover mode, and he's eyeing up the Eradicator over there, hopefully doing some damage to the rear armour and doing, fingers crossed, maybe killing it, but at least slowing it down. Over here, this one remains in hover mode and really is kind of targeting either the Rebel Valkyrie, which is also in hover mode, or the Eradicator there. So hopefully some good things coming up, but we will see. So moving on to turn 5 shooting and see what the Imperial troops can do. Right, so turn 5 for the Militarum Tempestus, and on our shooting phase here, these guys just unloaded a volley of shots, taking out 6 of the squad there. A lot of lookouts has passed, and Commissar Curtis let his men fall before him, as a coward he is. Elsewhere, this Valkyrie here fired down onto down onto the landing zone and took out the 3 traitors that were sitting on there. And basically the other 3 Valkyries all kind of consolidated their fire and targeted the Eradicator, unfortunately not taking anything but 1 hull point to it and immobilising it, so that's something. So moving on to turn 5 now for the traitors, and let's see what they can do. Right, so turn 5 for the Traitor Guard, and the Commissar has ordered this squad here to man the AA gun again, as the Commissar runs up the steps with the prisoner, General Waters, and they mount the Valkyrie here, so they're currently on board. So it looks smooth sailing now for the Commissar and his prisoner. And over here, the Eradicator still being immobile, just sitting there, probably targeting the Valkyrie that has been firing at him pretty much continuously throughout the game, throughout the battle. So moving into shooting for the traitors, and let's see what they can do. Okay, turn 5 for the Traitor Guard. The squad have run over the barricades, loading the AA gun, getting ready to shoot at any other Imperial flyers that may appear. Over here as well, the Eradicator fired its plasma cannon and its main cannon over at the Valkyrie. Valkyrie didn't jink, and it was good call as the Rebel sights were well off. Also, the Traitor Valkyrie skimmed off that way, trying to avoid any Imperial fire. So the battle at the moment is looking definitely in the Rebels' favour as they're extracting the General. And let's see if the Militarum Tempestus can hold on for one more turn. So on a roll of a 3+. No! So the Commissar has escaped with General Waters off for interrogation and to find out some Imperial secrets. So let's find out who the man of the match was for the Rebel forces. Tom, have you got any man of the match for?
Ooh, that's a bit tough actually. Nothing's really the whole army as a whole worked quite nicely together. I mean, the Valkyrie did quite well to sort of just come in at the last minute and grab what he needed to, but the Lord Commissar squad was quite good. Took out a nice squad of Skarns at the right time and managed to get up to the point without losing too many men. So yeah.
Yep, very nice.
I think the leaders unit was pretty
yeah,
good.
Very good. And for me, it probably would actually be the surviving squad because they've taken out quite a bit and haven't taken any casualties, which is quite an achievement of its own. So for me, yeah, with this squad here, they did really well. I'm very happy with them. I hope you've all enjoyed this video. If you want more kind of special scenarios like this, please just give us a like and a comment, and we really want to carry on doing something a little bit different. So thank you for watching, and this is Dom and Tom, and we will see you next time.
See you later.